Hey guys, what's up? My name's Zero, and welcome to my very first drawing commentary type thing. You probably already know me from either my DeviantArt or Tumblr or from the Nuzlocke forums, which means you are also probably familiar with my Nuzlocke comic, Jet's Black Nuzlocke. If you aren't, if you have no idea what a Nuzlocke is or who I am, then I do apologize because I won't be doing much of an explanation in this video, though you are of course more than welcome to stay, and I will provide some links in the description if you're interested in checking any of that stuff out. So 2 months ago, I finally started working on my Nuzlocke again, after half a year of doing other stuff, and because I felt bad for the long delay, I wanted to do something special in addition to just posting a new strip. This video is a big thank you to every one of you for all of your support, and especially those who take the time to leave me comments, which I absolutely love reading. And I definitely know how frustrating it is when a comic you follow doesn't update consistently, but it isn't really anything I can control, and with all the things I've been working on and still have to work on, I don't see myself being able to go back to making regular updates like before. But even so, you've all been really supportive and understanding, and so I do hope you find this at least somewhat interesting to watch. Uh, Maybe if you like it, I'll make more videos in the future. It took me 8 hours to draw the whole thing, which is a lot of footage to try and force into one video. So instead of making you sit through an hour and a half video straight, I've done my best to condense everything into reasonable sized parts. Part 1, what you're watching now, is the sketch. Part 2 will be the line art, and hopefully I'll be able to fit all of the coloring, backgrounds, and shading into one video for part 3. So we're a good ways into the sketch now, and if you haven't seen this episode already, it was posted in late January, and I'll put a link to it in the description for you so you can catch up. But yeah, pretty much all of my sketches start off as rough and messy as this. It doesn't matter what I'm working on, it could be an illustration or a comic, but the only difference with my Nuzlocke is I don't really refine it past this stage. Visually, I don't do much planning ahead of time either. Like, I might doodle the characters a bit for practice if they haven't been in the comic much, or I might do some general planning for the environment, like with this warehouse that this episode's taking place in. But other than that, this is pretty much my first pass on how it will look. I don't make thumbnails or even a script half the time. I just sit down with a general idea of what should happen in the episode and start drawing. Because of this, everything is subject to change. I might spend 5 minutes drawing a panel and then completely erase it and start over because it just didn't work. Even those word bubbles, they're being placed where I think they'll look good. I really don't have any idea what they're gonna say in them. I just kind of hope that I'm leaving enough space in them for the dialogue when it gets to it. It's like such a backwards way of doing things, and I certainly wouldn't be doing it this way if it were any other comic. But I think because it is a Nuzlocke, it's allowed to be fast and on the spot like that, sort of following the spirit of the first Nuzlocke, because it was drawn in stick figures, for crying out loud. So the artistry has never really been the focus of Nuzlocke comics. No one really cares how good it looks as long as the story or jokes are fun. And a lot of my favorite Nuzlocks start out as just like scribbles and stuff. Usually the quality gets better later as the person playing the game gets more attached to his team and starts to take it more seriously. And I played through the entire game first, and then I started drawing the comics. So I was already attached to my team and to the story, and I wanted the whole thing to look good. But just because mine was fully colored and lined from the start doesn't mean it's any less spontaneous. At least I hope not. Because I really think keeping that sort of upbeat tone is important in a comic like this, because it's so easy for it to turn dark and depressing. Oh man, his eye is so crooked. I'll fix that later in the line art. But anyway, I'm really conscious about not losing that fun energy my earlier episodes had. What else can I talk about? So there you saw I extended the canvas down, and that's basically how I draw these episodes. I start with a long canvas, and then as I hit the bottom, I extend it a few inches, and then I draw some more, and then I extend it a bit more as I run out of space. In the past, I worked at 700 pixels by however long, but now that I work at a print shop, my brain thinks more in inches rather than pixels, and 700 pixels is actually crazy small. It's like 2 inches or something, so yeah. I'm working bigger now, but I can't go too big or my computer actually starts to freeze. So it's this annoying balance that has to be kept. I'm sorry, I'm sure that was just fascinating to listen to. I'm just trying to think of things to talk about now. It's actually a lot harder than I thought doing this post-commentary stuff. If I do another video like this, I'd probably do the commentary as I draw it. But I mean, I'd probably be rubbish at that too. It's hard enough trying to think of what to draw, let alone trying to find things to talk about as I do it. That's a big reason why my live streams are kind of boring. I don't really have enough confidence to do this stage of the drawing in front of a live audience. So what you usually get is me coloring something or maybe the line art. I feel like the sketch process is the most raw form of creativity. Like, I don't know what it's going to look like yet, so this is where all the failures come out, all the ugly drawings and the stuff you don't see in the finished product. After this, it's all technical. And those poor little grunts, cowering in fear. Actually, I can probably talk about the characters now that I'm thinking about them. This is the first episode completely focused on Team Plasma, and it's actually supposed to be a big reveal that N is the leader of Team Plasma. But then the even greater reveal that Getsus is actually the evil mastermind behind N. And you all know that already, I'm sure. You've played the games or have heard about it. But technically you don't know, since before this episode it hasn't actually been mentioned in the comic itself. Treating this as a comic first and not just a parody, I need to pay attention to when I choose to reveal certain key pieces of information. And I did wonder if I was revealing too much too soon, but this is a good time to make this info known. The real kicker will be when Jet finally finds out in the Ferris wheel scene, but until then there really wasn't any point in hiding that information from you, the reader. And I think I said I was going to talk about the characters, but then just derailed into talking about the plot. Yeah. Yeah, so that's Percy and Val, the two grunts. They're twins, and they were inspired by Team Rocket from the anime. Jesse and James are like my favorite characters, and I wanted to do something like that rather than have a bajillion plasma grunts running around, to instead have only two and have them be characters in their own right. I've got a bit of character arc for them planned as well, which I'm not sure will happen yet. Like, at this point, it's still up in the air. And Getsus. This character. I really don't like this character. I mean, I don't know many people who do, but just, he's such a ridiculous, like, his design is terrible, his goal is terrible, like, take over the world, why not? And I hate that I can't really pronounce his name right. I mean, I'm trying my best, but I don't know. It's like, I don't know if it's Getses or Jetses. Most of the time I just end up calling him Dennis. But yeah, I'm glad a lot of you found it amusing the way I draw him, because that's about the best I can do for him. I don't know. So, almost done with the sketch here. And if you didn't know, to make those straight lines, like what I did for the panels, is just hold down shift as you draw with the brush, and it keeps the lines straight. So yeah, I'm not some demon who can draw perfectly straight lines. I did put that keyboard in the bottom of the screen there, in case you were wondering what that was, so you can see what keys I'm pressing in real time. It gets in the way a bit, but I just felt like it was a good thing to have, since a lot of my drawing process actually happens on the keyboard where you can't see in a stream like this. Not sure how helpful it is now that I've sped up the footage so much, but I think I will definitely be using it if I ever live stream in the future. And I'm more than happy to impart some tips or like hints on how to use Photoshop to draw. It's not exactly a drawing program, but I know a lot of people use it, and I don't want to be going around like telling you stuff that y'all already know, but then I don't want to like assume that you all know stuff. So if you have any like questions or wonder what in the world is happening in a certain part, you can just ask, and I'll either slow down and talk about it in another video, or I can just like type out an explanation for you. But yeah, I mean, like with any drawing program, I think the more shortcuts you know, the faster the workflow can get, and the better your workflow, the more you can actually get accomplished, so you're not wasting time or getting distracted by having to go to the menu or look for something when you can just press a button and it'll like give you that tool. So that's the sketch done. I'm just throwing some lines down for the panels right now, and I guess we'll be finished with this part. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have any suggestions on how I can improve these videos, then please leave a comment, and I will hopefully see you all in part 2. Bye!